In focus this evening, a legal challenge to the routine practice of cutting deals with cooperative witnesses. NBC's Pete Williams on a case which will be argued this week in federal court.
The case that has alarmed the nation's prosecutors began when police in Wichita, Kansas wondered how drug dealers managed to send their profits out of town back to suppliers. Detectives soon discovered a drug ring that hired Wichita women who took the cash and wired it out of state. One of those women arrested was Sonia Singleton. She was found guilty, based in part on the testimony of a known drug dealer, a man she says did not tell the truth.
Everything he said was a lie. He laughed the whole time he testified against me. So it was like it was a joke to him.
That man, Napoleon Douglas, was a government informant testifying under a deal with prosecutors. They would urge the judge to reduce his sentence if he would explain how the money laundering worked. But Sonia Singleton's lawyer challenged the deal using a novel argument. He asked the court to throw it out as an illegal bribe, reasoning that the federal bribery law applies to anyone who promises anything of value to a witness for court testimony.
We determined that surely freedom is a thing of value, or a reduced sentence is a thing of value, and there was no exception in the statute for the United States of America.
A panel of 3 federal judges agreed that the deal was indeed a bribe, ruling that, quote, the judicial process is tainted and justice cheapened when factual testimony is purchased, whether with leniency or money.
But just 10 days after that decision, the full federal appeals court on its own took the ruling off the books and ordered the lawyers involved to re-argue the case this week.
The government calls the original decision an absurdity, noting that informants like Sammy the Bull Gravano can be key in prosecuting the mob, or in complicated conspiracies like the World Trade Center bombing, and that several federal laws explicitly allow plea bargaining. Legal experts say informant deals are most often used in crimes committed by groups.
It's a practice that exists in almost all criminal prosecutions where you have more than one person involved. It's particularly prevalent in organized crime or gang cases.
And former prosecutors say if the court ends up equating plea deals with illegal bribes, it would be much harder to convict the leaders of criminal enterprises.
You wouldn't have the benefits of a cooperating witness to help you against the bigger fish that you were going after, or you would have to choose to let someone go unpunished. And I think either option is inherently unfair.
But the president of a defense lawyers group says it's time prosecutors stop making deals with some criminals to get at other criminals.
They take people who have been untrustworthy the rest of their lives and suddenly build entire cases on them and put people in prison for decades based on these unreliable people.
The stakes are so high that no matter how Sonia Singleton's case is decided, it's bound to wind up in the Supreme Court. Pete Williams, NBC News, Washington.